Well, hello, and welcome to the Internet of Unintended Consequences. So here I am with my friend
Tom, and I'm with my friend.
Deb, and today we want to talk about another very interesting sort of conversation starter, right?
Exactly. Privacy.
Oh, that is a loaded word.
Yes, it is.
And it means so many things to so many people. And you hear a lot of the discussion about privacy, about our personal information, right?
Exactly. And we were at a conference recently where we heard a speaker talk about privacy. And it was very interesting because he talked about privacy being guaranteed in the Constitution, and that because it was guaranteed in the Constitution, the right to privacy, it actually would extend to any form. But Deb, you realize that that's not quite right.
No, it's not quite right. And in fact, if we actually go back, right, to the U.S. Constitution, which is considered, the top law of the U.S., first of all, it's nowhere in the Constitution, this idea of privacy. In fact, our founding fathers, what their concern was about property, not privacy. And so, in one way it's really interesting. Now people will say, well, it says the pursuit of property, life, and happiness, and
Right.
maybe in happiness is where we get our privacy, but it's still not outlined. And that's why we have, so many state laws that talk about the protection of our private information, who can have access to it, what they can do with it.
Well, let's talk about that because I think that's so interesting. For example, Facebook. If someone takes a picture of you or me or someone else at a party and post it on Facebook, if they don't ask our permission, is that violating our privacy?
It could, and it could not be, right? As the lawyer, I'm going to say the lawyerly answer. It
Okay.
depends, right? But we actually had a case which was really interesting. And in this case, we had sort of an aunt take a picture of a niece and nephew and put it up on Facebook. And her sister, the mother of the children, asked her sister, please take it off. I don't put pictures of my kids online. And the aunt did not. So the mother successfully sued her sister to get the pictures off. And I think the issue there was, of course, these were of children. So minors are always considered a special class under the law, even though the mother and this woman were sisters, right? But children have that special class. But I think that also talks about, as parents, right, we need to protect the privacy of our children.
Absolutely.
We have to be careful what it is that we're posting of our children. And I think I told you about a new functionality Facebook has now, which is like a scrapbook for your child, right? So that parents can officially create digital identities for their children before they're born even.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, with the sonogram scans. I mean, what's going to happen when this kid is 18 then? And look back at all this stuff that his parents put up that he had no control over, right? He didn't have a right to consent for them to put his information up there.
Well, and that brings up another point too, that he didn't consent. He obviously didn't know at that stage. But there are cases where people have said, I was at a seminar and someone said, they were talking about Facebook. It was a social media seminar. And the person said, well, this doesn't apply to me because I'm not on Facebook. And the presenter said, well, yes, you are actually. He said, no, I don't have an account. I can't possibly be on Facebook. And he said, what's your name? And he gave him his name, and boom, 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 boom. He called it up, and then the man was all over Facebook.
That's because of something called tagging, right?
Yes.
All these people who take our pictures, they're our colleagues, they're our family, they put up the pictures, they don't ask our permission. And so we're where we may not want to be. And I have a wonderful sister. I love her to death, but I spend a lot of time untagging myself from her posts so that it doesn't have Deborah Gonzalez on that picture, right, of me at the beach or whatever. But I think that's something that we have to start looking at, right? We have to start remembering that if we don't want others to post about us, if we're considering that is an invasion of our privacy, then we need to start respecting that of each other. I need to respect you, Tom, and say, Tom, can I post this video online?
Yes,
right?
you have my permission.
Okay, great. Because if we don't do that respect one-on-one, how can we then expect the corporations to respect our privacy?
Precisely, because it goes into business and all aspects of our lives.
And that's probably one of the biggest concerns, and we'll talk about this much more in a later video, but the idea of, okay, once you have my information, what are you doing with it?
Precisely, and you never know who sort of out there might be getting that information, whether it's a photograph or and how they might search you and do cyber stalking.
What do they use it for, right?
Precisely.
We know about identity theft, and there's so much of us that we put out there that people can really find the information. I just think, it gets kind of scary a little bit.
Yes, it does. But as you said, this is something we'll talk a whole lot more about in future topics.
Yeah, so make sure that you check out our website at www.TIOUC. Yes. .com.
There you go.
This is my friend Tom.
And my friend Deb.
And the Internet of Unintended Consequences. Have a great one, guys.
For
Bye-bye.